Welcome back to the Singapore Grand Prix weekend. We advanced further than we normally do at the end of the last one to see what the weather was going to be like here, because it is a long slog at Singapore, even in the dry, let alone in the wet. And weirdly, the weather has actually changed since we did that in the last episode, but thankfully, the only rain that's coming is coming in quali, not in the race. So it will still be a full dry race. Thank the Lord. It's still close to a 2-hour Grand Prix, but I do love Singapore. When you get in a flow, it's a fantastic circuit to drive, and hopefully we could be relatively quick here. We'd have been even quicker if all those things hadn't failed in the bloody research and development over the past couple of weeks. You can see there, side pod profile failed, fuel tank positioning failed, front nose cone structure failed. We'd have been right up with the front three teams had all of those come in. So unfortunately, we're still only the 4th best team, but we should still be able to get good points this weekend. We were able to get ourselves a decent P7 in Monza. We had to fight very hard against both Alpines to be able to get that. And this time at Singapore, I'm hoping to go a little bit better still. I'm going to put some old parts in for practice, and then we will be off and on our way. As ever, do drop the video a like if you're enjoying the F1 content. Of course, the new game is really not that far away at all now. Very much looking forward to getting stuck in to F1 23 in a couple of weeks. But right now, we're going to get stuck into Singapore instead. This has to pass now. Oh, thank God for that. Everything passed. That was a struggle at Singapore through practice. A real genuine struggle. We're going to get quite a few resource points from it, but I am not seemingly on the pace here in Singapore. Again, I am using older parts, so that might have a part to play in it, if you'll pardon the pun. I'm going to go and now put fresher bits in the car before we go to quali. But it's set to rain at some point throughout the course of quali, so I don't know if we'll be anywhere near the front, or if maybe we might be significantly outside of the top 10 here by the time we've finished at Singapore. 38.6. Just hands down, easily the best lap I've done all weekend, and it puts us P3 in Q1. Rain is on the way in qualifying, so there may well be curveballs yet, but I put some extra front wing in for that run, and it seems to have given me a lot more stability. So fingers crossed, we'll be good. But I'm going to go out, well, I'm going to check the weather immediately, and we'll go out probably straight away in this session, because rain is coming, so I'm going to need to put in a quick lap right away. So let me go and do that right now. So the track is only going to get worse than it is right now for the rest of this session. And we put in a 45.2, which is not spectacular. Landed at a 44.8, so I'm about just under half a second slower than my teammate, but he's fastest of anybody so far. The rain is just going to get worse, and Valtteri is already out on inters, so I don't think it's going to get any faster than that. And it might be wet and drying in Q3, I'm not sure, but we are through to that Q3 session after a very scrappy lap. Very, very scrappy lap. We put it into P4. I don't have the consistency, I feel, to hold on to that position for the race. But we have some pace in the cars. A 38 flat. Half a second, or there or thereabouts, faster than my teammate. But Lando has gone quicker than that in the weekend so far, I think. George Russell was off the pace. Mercedes on pole. Look at that. 4 different constructors in the top 4 positions as well. Well, it's a fully dry race, so it's going to be an intriguing one on strategy. I'm not consistent enough around Singapore, despite it being a fantastically fun circuit to drive. I always find that the circuits I enjoy driving the most are the ones that I'm not actually the quickest at, which is weird. But hopefully we can do something in the Grand Prix to still get some good points. And you never know, it might be the odd safety car or two. 24, 24, 13 is what we will put it in as then. We got a lot of fuel on board, but I think I'm just expecting to be fuel heavy, so I'm not going to take any fuel out. Okay, medium, medium, soft it is. Hopefully, we can have a good race. I have no idea how this is going to go on this occasion. Normally, you can half predict how a race is going to go based on the strategy, but because it was the strategy we're running is so different to that it initially recommended, I couldn't tell you. It's also nice to actually do a Singapore race that is solely dry, because the majority of the time there is rain involved in Singapore. Here we go then, Singapore Grand Prix starting P4. Expecting Lando to have a lightning start behind me. Oh, it's a long hold, but we're away. A lot of wheel spin, but we're all right. I've got Science alongside me. We're going to get pinched on the inside of turn 1. Lando is having a quick start. I was expected though on those soft tyres, so we're down to P5. I didn't want to commit early doors and get nailed by Perez in that first turn. Always get pinched on the inside like that, so I wanted to just survive it rather than go aggressive. Now it's a case of trying to survive for the rest of the race. We are a new set of mediums that we've got on, so we should have new mediums to go to next, which indeed we do, meaning why it asked me to run a really short first stint and really long second stint, I've no idea. We're going to split this strategy, 24 laps, and then 13 laps on softs. Although how many laps I do on softs, I will decide on the fly once we see how many laps those that have started on softs can do. We've got to take into account the fact that they'll be on heavy fuel, so their tyre wear will be slightly higher, but it will give us a good indication of what to expect from our own softs later in the race. At the minute, I expect to be challenging for, well, where we are now, I think, at the end of the race. Carlos Sainz has got some pace in that Ferrari, certainly, but he's also got a lot of cars to try and get through on a track that isn't massively friendly when it comes to your chances of overtaking. Oh, definitely struggling with the weight of the car on heavy fuel, though. I'd be tempted to let Lando through and not to ruin his race. So I might do that in these early stages. Lando wants to come and get me, then I will do that. And I'll let him through. Here. Go on, Lando. You go through, pal. I'll now just follow you. I'll sit in your DRS when it comes, and I'll try and protect you a bit from Fernando Alonso. Hopefully, as a team, we can stay competitive with that front 4. But what I don't want is now Lando to just disappear down the road and leave me for dead. I've played the team game. I've put his race ahead of my own at this stage. Hopefully, that will work out for us both later in the Grand Prix.
Keep pushing. The car behind can't keep up with this pace. We think they're struggling with fuel.
Fernando's having a look. It's telling me that Fernando's struggling with fuel, which will benefit us later in the Grand Prix, but I'm struggling to keep him behind me at the minute. He's alongside here. He will have DRS down the straight as well. This is short-term loss, long-term gain, I think. I was trying to protect Lando as long as I could. And weirdly, despite it being a street track with quite a few heavy braking zones, it's actually quite hard to regain ERS as well throughout the course of the lap. I've lost DRS on Fernando already. The difference in those soft to medium tyres is just so high, which is why the hards are absolutely not an option at all. So we're wanting to do 13 laps on our soft tyres at the end of the Grand Prix, meaning that by that measurement, the pace that we're seeing from the soft runners here now and the wear that we might well be seeing from the soft runners now is about halfway through that stint for us. And at the minute, the mediums aren't coming into their own too much comparatively to those softs. I think Fernando is still gapping me, so there's still some good wear in those softs even after 6.5, nearly 7 laps. It does feel like I'm just kind of understeering and oversteering everywhere. Even, wow, lap 7. Lap 7. Sorry, 8. They're pitting on lap 8. Is that it? Their soft tyres only lasted 8 laps. Although, that was still 8 laps at a decent pace. But their pace was still just as good as mine on mediums. And Seb is continuing. So maybe they're doing an extra stop? Seb is helping me here by buffering me to Russell a little bit. Because once George gets close, he will challenge me and he will look to get past, and you won't be surprised to hear that I reckon he'll actually dispatch at me relatively quickly, George Russell. Gaps in front are growing significantly. We've got no chance of a podium here.
Right, we think the car behind might start to have fuel management issues. Let's see if we can use this to our advantage over the next few laps.
Right, it's just constant vibrations through the controller everywhere on the track. So it's about a 26 second loss for a pit stop. One of the AlphaTauris has also pit. And now Esteban Ocon is in the pits as well. You'll notice that's both Alpines in the pits now. If they've gone to softs again, then they're definitely 3-stopping. Fernando and Ocon have. Lando's gone to mediums, so Lando might just be 2-stopping, but both the Alpines are definitely 3-stopping. Gasly, I would imagine, is 2-stopping also. Soft, medium, medium, so basically running the reverse of my strategy is what I anticipate they'll do. Still no pit stop for Sebastian Vettel, so if he can do at least 10 laps, I'm so slow off the final corner. If he can do at least 10 laps on his soft tyres now at the beginning of the race, we'll definitely be able to do 13 on ours on much less fuel as George locks up and lets me through again. Thank you, mate. There you go, Seb is in the pits at the end of lap 11. We'll definitely be alright to do 13, I think, at the end of the race. Carlos Sainz is now up to P7 after starting P19, because all of those soft runners have now pit, and it's those of us that are on our mediums that are just now running a much longer stint. We're nearly halfway through our stint. We're planning on pitting on lap 24 or 25 for another set of medium tyres. Here comes George again. Do I go defensive? He went to the inside. I gave him loads of room because I anticipated him locking up again. But he didn't, thankfully. Otherwise, he'd have just gone straight into me. Get me now. He's got a run on me here out of the right-hander. I was a bit wide on entry. That's George through. Passes me for a second time, and this time does make it stick. Lando's actually passed Carlos Sainz now. To be fair, oh no, now they're back in front. The other way around. To be fair, Lando will have much fresher tyres than Carlos, who started on those mediums, and Lando pit for his medium tyres on lap 8. No, that's not a massive amount of difference in tyre life, really. Not for mediums around here. But then battling is saving me a little bit, because Carlos is probably going to be closing me up throughout the course of this Grand Prix. At the minute, I'd say we're trying to finish where we are now in P6.
The gap to the car in front is 2.5 seconds.
Unless there's a safety car. If there's a safety car, it could dramatically all change. Lando is pulling away a little bit from Carlos as well. Got a 2-second gap on him now and is starting to reel me in. Leclerc pitting, there you go. So they're running, or at least Leclerc is, yeah, the front 3 in fact, are all running the default strategy that we saw earlier, which was lap 15 pit for another set of mediums, and then run this set of mediums a lot further. Now Lewis has come out on softs, intriguingly. We've come out ahead of Verstappen and Leclerc now. But they're going to be running that medium set they've just gone on to for another 35 laps, I presume. I will ask what their strategy is behind. Lewis has gone medium to soft, so I presume Lewis has one stop left as well. We will ask. And eventually, it will tell me.
It's Hamilton ahead. Okay, gap ahead is 0.8 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Okay, we think they've got 2 stops remaining. 2 stops remaining.
So Hamilton is 3 stopping as well. So we are effectively running full position now with Lewis Hamilton, because we both have 2 stops remaining.
And
Those behind, however...
Our gap behind is 3.1 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. We think they've got 1 more stop.
Yeah. So Verstappen is going to do the original default strategy that we thought, that we altered to change to our own extended first medium stint, shortened second medium stint. So we should probably come into pit off this medium set, sorry, off our next medium set, and to go to softs at about the same time that Max Verstappen does his. So there are multiple strategies at play here, with Russell having now just gone to softs. We're currently running P2. I don't know where we'll be challenging at the end. It might still be, probably will still just be trying to finish P6 ahead of our teammate. But my race is not with Max right now. He's significantly faster than me on that set of tyres. Brand new set, unsurprisingly.
There's a new strategy available on the MFD.
Oh, okay. I'm intrigued to see what this is then. Does it want me to extend further? No, it wants me to pit sooner onto my next set of mediums. I'm going to keep... It wants me to pit this lap. No. I still want to pit. I still want to keep going. Rather than let Lando through, I might just pit. So it'll save me some time letting him through. Where would I come out? 9th. Perez 6. 7, 8, 9. I come out between... When I pit, at the minute, I come out between the Alfa Romeo and the 2 Alfa Tauris. What I wouldn't mind doing is actually coming out in front of the Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo. I don't know actually if that gap is growing or that gap is lessening at the moment, but I'm driving like an absolute wally right now. Trying to think about everything other than driving the car. I need to concentrate. Trying to let Lando through without letting Checo through. We've somehow managed it. Again, trying to protect Lando from cars behind them. Russell's on softs now, so George Russell is doing a 3rd stop as well. I'm hoping Lando can just disappear down the road a little bit. I was going to say, if he could give me DRS over the bridge, so that would be great. And I do actually have it, just. To put Zandvoort levels of defensive driving in. I believe Carlos Sainz must have pit, yeah. Ah ha ha. Sainz pit on lap 15. Or 16 actually. Leclerc pit 15, I think Sainz pit 16. We're going to pit next lap. Lando is not past Max though. I don't know why Lando's pitting again now.
Okay, the pit window's
Surely there's no way he runs those...
Box this lap.
There's no way he runs his medium tyres if he puts them on now to the end, surely. Hamilton's pit again for another set of softs as well. The strategies are all over this shop right now. I have no idea what's going on. All I know is that I'm going to pit on this lap for another set of mediums, and then whatever happens after that happens. I can't keep track of everything that's going on at the minute, because he only ran that first set of medium tyres for like 16, 15, 16 laps? Surely he's not trying to take a set of mediums that he's put on now to the end of the race. I've no idea. I'm going to pit, though. And George Russell's coming in behind me. Okay. That doesn't make any sense either. What strategy is everybody on? This is chaos. George is going to another set of softs.
That was a fantastic stop.
I've absolutely
Faster than we were expecting.
no idea what everyone's doing then. So I've gone medium, medium, as have the front three. Lewis has gone medium, soft, soft. George has gone medium, soft, soft. So they'll be going either softs again and then mediums, or just mediums. Lando's gone soft, medium, medium, but I don't think those mediums will take him to the end. I will ask about my teammate, but he might have to go soft, medium, medium, soft. Chaos. I've no idea. Genuinely no idea. Gasly's gone soft, medium, hard. There's at least 3, if not 4 different strategies at play here. As soon as I'm out of the pits, I'll ask about Lando. Fernando's now just taken me.
Up to speed now.
So Fernando's up into P8. We're in P9. Soon to be P10 behind a George Russell with soft tyres on. So now we're going to take this set to lap 48 and then put a fresh set of softs on. And I'll ask what the hell's happening with Lando when I can.
We're currently trailing our teammate by 10.4 seconds. They're on fresh mediums. They're currently 6th. Your last lap time was 2 minutes 05.4.
So Lando's now not stopping. Lando is on that set of tyres to the end of the race. So he is running the same strategy as me in reverse. But that set of medium tyres he's just put on have got to do 36, 37 laps. They are going to be dead AF at the end of the Grand Prix. Okay, so Fernando's got 1 stop left. Same as me. But I don't know whether Fernando's run his medium, run his softs yet or not. But I'm actually, I think I'm closing on Fernando.
We think they've got 1 more stop.
I think I am closing on Fernando. George has 1 stop left as well. He'll go to mediums when he does stop off that set of softs. We've obviously got a set of softs to go to, but I'm now on fresh tyres that are about 6 or 7 laps fresher than Fernando Alonso's. We are now closing on the Spaniard and genuinely racing him for position at the end of the Grand Prix. This has been the hardest race to keep track of what's going on with everyone else around us that we've had for a very long time. Here comes George into turn 1.
Be aware the car behind is catching you by 0.5 a lap. 5
Is he? Thanks for that, mate. So I'd like to think that we will pass and finish the race ahead of Fernando Alonso. I'd like to think that. Whether that's accurate or not, though, I don't know. So the gap behind is pretty stable. The gap to Fernando is just all over the place because he's fuel saving at times and he's absolutely nailing it at times. Russell, oh no, now Alonso's in the pits. Okay, so he absolutely fuel saved and then he friggin' nailed it for a lap and a half to put his fresh set of tyres on. So Alonso will be going mediums to the end now, presumably. Lewis is now out on his final set of mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. I've still got another 17 laps on this set of tyres before we even contemplate coming in again. This is going to be the lonely stint. Russell's pitting again. Jeez Louise. So now we're back up to P7. Russell will be putting on a set of medium tyres to take him to the end now, similar to Lewis Hamilton. But Russell is going to have to come through Vettel and Ocon, or I think Ocon might have just pit himself. He has indeed. So I don't know whether Seb's going to the end or not. I think he might be. I'll ask about him.
Vettel's behind you.
But George is still going to have a number of cars to come through.
They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 11 laps
Oh yeah,
old now.
he's going to stop again.
Got 1 more stop.
So hopefully George gets stuck behind Ocon, Valtteri and Seb and a Haas. It's probably Magnussen, not Mick. And then fingers crossed George loses loads of time. And when we put our fresh softs on at the end of the race, we might be able to still challenge for a P7.
Let's use that overtake button a bit more.
I've no idea.
Okay, we think they've got 2 stops remaining. 2 stops remaining. And the time last lap was a 1:46.3. We're currently
What is
trailing our
Sainz doing
teammate
then?
by 19.2 seconds.
Seb's just pit behind me. If Sainz has 2 stops remaining, that means the Ferrari is going medium, medium, soft, soft. Whereas I'm going medium, medium, soft. So at the minute, we're on the same strategy, but Sainz is going to stop for soft tyres twice. Whereas I'm only going to stop for soft tyres once.
2 seconds a lap, be aware.
So is P6 a thing again, maybe? But Alonso and Russell behind don't have to pit again.
The gap behind is 12.
Whereas I obviously do.
On fresh mediums. Their tyres are 5 laps old. Your last lap time was a 1:42.2.
The tyres are 5 laps old, but they are running to the end, which is still another 25 laps to go. So should I say. 10 laps on this set. There's a yellow flag. I think Esteban Ocon might be retiring. I think Esteban Ocon is retiring.
Information on Ocon.
Esteban
Right,
Ocon
they've got a serious car issue.
has
It looks like
retired.
they're retiring.
No safety car for that, though. He's pulled off into a big runoff area. So no safety car for that DNF. To be fair, I don't want a safety car now anyway, because my only option would be to go to a set of... Either a set of new softs to then pit for a set of worn softs and do an extra pit stop, or go to hards. And I don't really want to do either of those, to be honest. Now
Okay, here's some
Latifi's
information on
retiring.
Latifi. They're retiring from the race.
So Esteban Ocon retired at the end of this straight here last lap. His car is now gone, so they've removed that already. Latifi retired by the tunnel, but his car has gone already as well, so that was quick. We have now had 2 retirees in this session. Latifi retired about here, but they got rid of that car super quick. Lando, Perez and Lewis currently fighting for a P3, but just noticed Sergio and, well, in fact, the whole front 3 do have to pit again. Well, I hope Lando's not pitting again, because if he isn't, Lando Norris is on for a podium here. There you go, Carlos Sainz is in the pits now.
Drivers stopping now.
So, Carlos Sainz is pitting to put on softs, but he's going to stop twice. And hopefully he is going to come out behind Alonso and Russell. So he's going to be rapid on those softs, but he's then also going to get stuck behind Alonso and Russell. Checo's in the pits as well. To hards. What is Sergio doing?
The car in front is 8.8 seconds.
So now Sergio Perez is on hards to the end, and he's also going to come out behind everybody else. So behind Fernando Alonso, behind George Russell, behind Carlos Sainz. What is going on? Lando's now in a podium position, and now they want me to change my strategy. Want me to go to softs on 46. I'll say no. Well, I might as well just say yes. But I'll actually stop on 47. So I currently was 48. They wanted to stop it to 46, so I'll do it at 47. And hopefully those soft tyres will keep me fast enough till the end to either hold position against some other fast drivers around me on different tyres, or earn me a position with an overtake or two. The minute he reckons I'll come out 9th. No, I don't think Perez pit for damage. He needed to run another set of tyres, Daniel. He'd only run medium, medium. So Perez was just pitting for tyres, not... Oh no, it's front wing! What the friggin' balls has happened there then? So Checo pit for a new front wing. He was fighting with Lewis and picked up damage. He needed to pit for another set of tyres anyway, for another compound, but because he had to pit for that damage then as early as he did, soft tyres wouldn't have lasted to the end. So he's been forced onto a set of hards. Whereas those in first and second, Charles and Max, are still on a medium, medium, soft strategy, and they'll stop in the next couple of laps, as will I. So there might not have been much on-track action for us in this Grand Prix, but there's certainly still been a lot of headwork going in and a lot to talk about because it's been happening for everyone else. What do you even begin to title this video? Pit strategy chaos? Or you pit, he pits, everyone gets a pit. Yeah, what the friggin' balls is happening is probably a, probably a decent title. There's those three behind. Sainz has now caught Alonso and Russell. But Sainz still has to pit another time. So he's now getting held up by Alonso and Russell. So it still reckons I'll come out 9th.
Understood. Stopping this lap.
We're going to pit for fresh sauce to take us to the end. And we're going to, try and catch this trio behind me again, but I don't think that's going to be possible. I'm actually on a personal best lap right now as well, which is weird. Also not got massive amounts of fuel left either. So, softs then. We're going to come out 9th, behind Perez, significantly behind Perez and the other guys, and now I'm trying to catch them.
Nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
Sainz still has another pit stop to make as well. I presume Checo is slow AF on those hard tyres. How slow AF is slow AF, I don't know. On brand new soft tyres, just like Carlos Sainz did, I should be the fastest car on track. Purple sector 1 to back that up. Annoyingly, Carlos Sainz does have another pit stop, so he'll probably take the fastest lap off me at the end of the race, but to be fair, Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen both pitting for softs very soon as well. In fact, if they haven't already done so, which they haven't yet. So I will get the fastest lap now, but I won't be keeping it. 140.2, fastest lap of the race so far. So I'm about 2-ish seconds a lap behind, faster than Checo. So we should catch Checo before the end of the race, provided my tyres last. Lando's pitting again. I didn't think Lando had to pit again. Oh, you just potentially thrown away a podium, Lando. Please come out of the pits in front of that trio of cars coming around underneath the bridge now. Lando, you better get out in front of Alonso, Russell, and Alonso, Sainz, and Hamilton. He's come out behind them, and he's put hard tyres on. Lando! Lando could have gotten a podium. Instead, he's going to get a P7 or 8. Dead. There's Sainz in the pits for his final pit stop.
The McLaren driver's in the pits.
No, the McLaren driver is not in the pits. So we're going to briefly take Carlos Sainz. But we have figured out why I felt like I've had minimal front and rear grip for the majority of the race, despite having maximum wings, and why I've been sliding around everywhere.
You're pulling out a second a lap on the
Tyre
car.
temps.
Really good stuff.
My tyres have been running hot. Every set has been running hotter than it should be, and that's why I haven't had the pace today. So they're wearing quicker, and they're running hotter and sliding more, and that's why we're P8 and not really challenging for the top 6 that we should be, with an extra pit stop less than some drivers, the majority of drivers around us. I'm still slow. Checo's on worn hards that have done less laps than my softs, and I'm already slower than him now because my tyres are too hot and they're wearing too quickly. Gutted is an understatement, but what can I do? It's out of my control and has been since I started the race. So it just took us till about lap 50 to actually figure out what the hell was wrong with the car. So at the minute I'm P8. I have to try and hold on to that P8 from Carlos Sainz behind me now, because he will close down like crazy once he gets past Sebastian Vettel, which will be in the next few seconds, I imagine.
Russell is in the pits.
Why is Russell in the pits? That's got to be for damage, surely. There's no way George is doing another pit stop now. That's got to be for damage. There's no way he's doing a fourth pit stop for anything other than damage. It's not actually showing up yet. Surely he's got to be changing a nose there.
At the moment, the car behind is lapping faster than us by around a second a lap.
Lando is up to P4 again now because he's got himself in front of Alonso. Now we'll be able to check and see if George needed a new nose cone. I imagine he did. And indeed he did. So George got damage. Damage do you have, George? The answer is yes. So we're now actually P7. Although Carlos Sainz is 4.5 seconds behind, and I now need to fuel save. So we will not be finishing P7. We will be finishing P8. Well, I've got 2 laps to go. I've got Carlos Sainz half a second behind me, and I need to save fuel. So rather than, as I would usually, try and save fuel at the end of the long straight like this, I'm just going to try and save fuel in the other slower corners where Carlos has no chance of getting through. And hopefully we can defend for, oh god, we can defend for our lives and keep him behind. So if I can defend through here and go save some fuel over the bridge. He's just hit me. He's just driven into the back of me. That's not going to work, Carlos. You've lost your front wing, pal. Well, Carlos Sainz just ruined his own race. I don't need to save any fuel now.
Ahead is 13.4 seconds.
Well, there's Carlos Sainz into the pits then for a new front wing on the last lap of the race. But that was all his own doing. I didn't even... Oh, God. I didn't even brake early for that particular corner and try and save fuel at that bit. I wasn't full throttle prior to and over the bridge, but into the braking zone, I still went all the way into the braking zone. And he still ran into the back of me.
Less than 1 lap of fuel left now. The tank's pretty much empty.
Yeah, you're telling me, mate. I've had my eye on it for about 10 laps. Thankfully, we are going to see it through to the end, albeit slowly, and for a P7. Which is not great for my championship, to be completely honest. But for the team, with Lando finishing P4 as well, we're going to be very, maybe not very pleased, but happy enough as Lewis wins the race here. Charles Leclerc will come home second, as they were battling actually quite closely, I think, for the win at the end of the race. They're yellow flagging about George behind, but he seems fine. That's weird. That yellow flag sector just followed George through the end of the lap. That was odd. Well, P4 and P7 for the team is not terrible. Had I not had the issue with tyre temperature, which I think is my fault for upping my pressures, not the game and that old bug, by the way. I think I was just running too high a tyre pressure. And unfortunately, it's a P7 for me. It could have been better. Whether I would have had the race pace without the tyre pressure mistake, I don't know. Sainz finishes P11 in the end and outside the points, unfortunately for him. But we get some points. I'm actually trying to defend from Lewis now behind me in the driver's standings. The title is gone for me, but Charles and Max are battling out for it very well indeed. And Mercedes have jumped us in the constructors now. So we are in a straight fight with Mercedes for P3 in the constructor standings. But I'm trying to hold on to a P3 in the driver standings too. With 4 races to go, around 13, 14, 15 and 16. It's USA, Mexico, Brazil and Abu Dhabi. Now, I've had things pass now, which is great. Do I do the DRS activation or do I do something for drag reduction, considering it's the United States coming up soon and we're going to want that done as soon as possible. That is 857 there. We're going to want the car to be as good as possible in the corners. I can't do anything else on the front of the car. Tyre wear. Tyre wear's not been an issue, actually, so I'm not worried about that. Drag reduction is probably going to be good for us, I think. But that's not that much of a boost in my performance index, whereas the DRS one is a bit more of a boost. And with a big straight in America, I'm going to hope that a slightly better DRS makes me slightly better into the turn at the end of the straight. And obviously with Brazil coming as well, which is DRS heavy and straight line speed needed as well, they could be very, very important. Please pass DRS maximum slot gap. You beauty. Thank you very much indeed. We'll skip that. I've got 1,200 resource points. Can I put something else on? Oh, I'm 30 short of rear downforce. That's frustrating. We've got some new stuff here. Weight redistribution. I can't afford that. Weight reduction. I can't afford that. And I can't afford tyre wear either. Oh, McLaren have added something air filter wise, which is nice. Thanks, lads. That's for the... I don't know what that added to us, actually. Engine power, I presume. So I can't afford anything yet. So we're just going to have to wait until after practice in in America. But in the R&D, we're still advancing a little bit. We're still a little bit behind Mercedes. I'll go to the race weekend again, just like we did before, so we can see how that performance index changes. And we'll check the weather for the race. Now, it tends to be indifferent around here, and it is going to be again. Although the rain is only going to come right at the very end of the Grand Prix. So dry for the majority of the race, but rain at the very end. We've got a lot of upgrades that have come in, though. And that's... Oh! This was the plan with this one season career mode. To challenge the front 3 teams. Well, look at that performance index. We're now challenging with those front 3 teams. If only we hadn't had as many failures as we did last time, then we might have been even further ahead, because I could have afforded to put on a couple of other upgrades that might have been done by now. By the end of the season, we might be genuinely challenging for wins. Okay. It is serious business in the remaining 4 Grand Prix. This is going to be very, very intriguing indeed. That's all for me for today, though. Thank you very much for watching. Drop the video a like if you've enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the remaining 4 Grand Prix. Or, of course, the rest of the Southampton save on FIFA as well. Hopefully you're having a good weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow.